We have all kinds of enemies in this world. They include corporations, the corporate media. They certainly include the meat and dairy industries. They include carnivorous ideology, and include the police state and the security forces that enforce the animal holocaust as valid, legitimate, and they fully protect it. But in some ways, we are our own worst enemy. In many ways, we are limiting ourselves. We are becoming stronger. We are growing in numbers, but much too slowly, and they are growing much stronger than us at a much quicker pace. We are isolated. We are isolationist. We live in a small, marginalized community that we accept and we reinforce. And we live in a bubble world. We live in a fantasy land where we, like most of the population, cannot bear to look at the facts of reality too often. So the first thing I want to say critically about us after those general remarks is that we overestimate our growth, our numbers, and our power. And we do this by manipulating numbers and by looking at very small sectors of reality, by living in our bubble land that we don't see outside of. You can read newspaper headlines that will say, the number of vegan children are growing. There are more and more vegan college students than ever before. But these are small sectors of our population, and the larger population is not growing. And did you know that we have a magical mathematics? It's called fuzzy math. And the vegan outreach people practice this the most. For every pamphlet they hand out, here's a pamphlet, vegan pamphlet, vegan pamphlet, vegan pamphlet, they think they get one vegan. One pamphlet, one vegan. 5,000 pamphlets a day, 5,000 new vegans. Now, do we ever look in the garbage can to see how many pamphlets are in the garbage can? Do we ever ask, do they take the pamphlets home and read them? Do we ever ask, do they read them and understand them and begin to experiment with veganism? Do we ask if they tell their friends about veganism, which we use to inflate our numbers? No, we don't. So the vegan outreach people make up their numbers, the most wildly optimistic numbers that they can have, so it makes us seem that we are growing. Now, if you think I am exaggerating, there is a group in the United States called Vegan Outreach. They had to admit that they inflated their numbers. The truth is, we have no idea what impact vegan outreach has. We have no idea. There has been no study, but we lie to ourselves and tell each other that we are doing a great job by handing out vegan pamphlets. And we don't know the facts anyway. Now, I have a second shocking fact for you. It includes two words that are taboo in our community, the two words that vegans cannot say, and no, they are not F-U. These two words, my friends, are China and India. We do not talk about China and India because it upsets our little models. These are the world's two most populated nations. China, 1.3 billion people. India, 1.2 billion people. And these countries are rapidly modernizing. They are buying into capitalism. They're exchanging their bicycles for automobiles, their rice bowls for steak and chicken and ham and turkey. Have you ever heard the saying that the world cannot afford another United States? Because the United States is about 1/5 of the world's population, but consumes 25% of its resources and energy. Indeed, the world cannot afford another United States. The middle class of China is 300 million people. The total number of people in America is 300 million. So we have a schizophrenic way, if you allow me to use that metaphor, a schizophrenic way to deal with these realities that we understand consciously, unconsciously, or not at all. On the one hand, we are exuberant. I don't know about you. I am tired of going on Facebook. I am tired of getting emails that say, victory! I recently read on Facebook, one vegan said, we will achieve victory in our lifetime. Now the left, the socialists, the Marxists, they like to believe in victory too, but all of them say, we will not see it in our lifetime. But now I see vegans saying, we will win the revolution in our lifetime. I read an article by a vegan a few weeks ago that used fuzzy math to say that we will win in 6 years. This is a fantasy. This is an inability to deal with reality. This is not helping our movement. It is hurting us. Now, I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring you down. I will try to bring you up. We have to face some facts. We are not winning. We are losing, and we are losing badly. We are losing to population growth. We are losing to China and India. We are losing to modernization. We are losing to neoliberalism and the eradication of any barrier to so-called free trade. We are losing to authoritarian governments and the loss of civil liberties. We are losing to species extinction. And we are losing to climate change. This is what the scientists say, just to give you an example. By the year 2050, we will find the following facts to be true. The world population will be 9 billion people. The oceans will be dead, and there will be no fish. We will have lost 1/3 to 2/3 existing species. All of the polar ice caps will be melted. Where's the victory? Are we winning? Are we going to win? Are we going to win with that attitude that we are winning? There's not a chance. We have got to get out of vegan fantasy land and face the facts of how strong the enemy is and how strong our challenge really is. And so I mentioned that there's a kind of schizophrenia in our mindset. On the one hand, I've shown you, we're far too optimistic. On the other hand, we're far too pessimistic. We are passive-aggressive. The aggressive part is we will win. Victory, victory now, victory in 6 years. Here's the passive part. Well, every little bit does some good. Here's the passive part. Well, if I save one person in my lifetime, I've done something good. How pathetically low can we set our standards? You see, the major problem with the way we think about the world can be put in these terms. We pretend like we can leaflet the Holocaust out of existence, we can educate fascists into humanity, and that we have an infinite amount of time to change the world.